Okay, welcome to Grace to Grow. And Ken and I, we thought what better way to start this off is to kind of tell our story, where it all began for the Lindsay. So we're going to take it all the way back to the 90s, where we first met, to getting married, some of the things that didn't go so well in the marriage, and even some good things in our turnaround moment. So we're going to let you start out.
Okay. So Ken and Dee pre-marriage. I want to be brief and short, but I think that we met 1993. Met at a club.
We was dancing.
And for me, I believe that in the space and time that I was at that time, I believe Dee was God sent. I believe she was sort of my Jesus that kind of saved me. At that point I was trying to get away from the bad boy lifestyle, just really doing whatever I wanted to do. At that time I called it fun and realized, man, I probably did more damage and hurt more people during that time. And my heart was like, I grew up in church, so at this point I felt like God was giving me a tug. Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, share your what was giving you your heart a tug?
Well, I growing up in chapels, there was nothing to do, so I was ready to experience the world. I was fascinated when I saw you. It was just something different. I was like, here's this wild guy, and even though because I had been in the church all my life, it was something like but I was like, man, I was hungry for something different. So here you go running to the church, and I'm trying to run to the world, because I was just like, and even though it wasn't what we expected, God allowed our path to cross on a dance floor. And I look back at that and I was like, man, what if I not snuck in that night? Would we have met each other? So it's amazing how our paths crossed the way they did. And it was interesting. I wanted to be part of your world, and you wanted to be part of my world. So I'll let you keep going.
Yeah, and so it definitely was a journey. Like Dee was saying, she was headed wide open to what she perceived to be the good life that I was living, and I was wide open towards getting back into the church and seeing some of the things that her family presented, and in that was a struggle and a fight within itself. She was wanting to be free, and I was wanting to find boundaries, because I didn't have any boundaries, man. I remember some of the guys I hung out with, at this point in time, they were like, Lindsey, you deaf-struck, things of that nature, just really no boundaries. And Dee just been in this construct and these boundaries for so long. She was like, I'm ready to break free. And so that was a dynamic of our marriage that we had to go through. So that's ministry and world, and so you can imagine how that went. And so in that journey to where we are now is that we had a lot of uncertainties, a lot of good gracious, we had to be parents, cane blended, then we trying to do ministry or trying to be a part of the local church. Yes.
I think that was the only thing we got right, serving at the church.
Yes.
Because it was like many times we argue on the way to church.
But when we step on that campus,
we just smiling and oh, hey sweetheart, and it was just, and then as soon as we left church, it was like, I'm like this going home, looking out the window, and it was just like, but we got the God thing right. Yeah. And I think that's what helped us.
Yes.
All these years.
Yes.
That even though we had our problems, we were committed to God.
Yes.
We was committed to serving.
Yeah.
And I think that's where God's grace came in the picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like, okay, these two down here, they ain't getting it right, but I know they love us, so love me. So I'm a help guide them. Yeah. We fumbled at a lot of things.
Yeah.
It was
parenting.
Yeah. It was like we was thrown into, I hate to use the word thrown, but like we was thrown into marriage because we were children. Me not knowing who I was, and and I'm you not really truly understanding what it meant to be a husband, and oh my gosh, we made a mess of some things, but we got some things right, I think.
Yeah,
but,
well, like I said, the commitment part, the commitment level, I think we got right. Both of us probably at some point, because of our personality. D is A personality. I'm an A personality, and so we don't want to fail, and so we was going to make that marriage work.
Remember, we actually betted on how long we was going to be married.
Yeah, we both didn't say it to each other till later on. That, man, I said to myself that, man, after a year I'm done.
Yeah.
And that just lets you know how much, and it wasn't even work. I think it would have been easier if we knew what work to do or what type of work to do, but we was working so hard of trying to do something, and it seemed like the more we worked trying to do something right, it was just more of the arguing, and we didn't even know how to set aside our disagreements. A house full of turmoil, and just that static feeling of arguing, and not even doing it in front of the kids. It's just that the fact we did it behind closed doors, but when we came out, we weren't talking. We were like, we stayed in our own corner when we was out. So
because we didn't know who we were either. Just trying to find ourselves and being parents, and it was tough. It was tough for me.
Yeah.
But let's fast forward to, like, let's say 2014. We got married in 1997, but I feel like we need to celebrate 2014 as our true marriage, because that was when we had our turnaround.
Our renewal. Yes.
So you want to share about our healing process?
Yes. 2014. I had a friend of mine, kind of share some things with. He said, Lindsey, you keep talking about the same thing over and over, and he mentioned this place, Healing the Heart, and actually he sowed a seed. He said, if you can come up with this, I sowed a seed for you to go. And man, that was one of the pivotal turning point in our marriage relationship, in my life period. So by this time, I didn't come to about 40 something years old, and still dealing with some childhood things. And once I went up there, just really got set free. I mean, leading up to that point before I got there, people was praying for me and was saying some things, and it was like, okay, I was expecting God. And when I got up there and came back, it was night and day. I think the main thing I got out of that ministry session was that I was looking for something from D to fill a hole. And I have I believe in God. I have the faith, and so I was wondering, man, why this thing keep aggravating and causing a rift in our marriage? And so I got set free at that time, and got healing for some affections that I didn't receive in the home, and then came back that freed D, because I was not trying to pull on her or being frustrated with her because she wasn't giving something that I was missing. And so after I came back, shared that, and then I poured all that excitement on you, and you moved. And
I'm gonna be honest with you, when you left that weekend, I had told God if something didn't change, I was ready to walk away from the marriage, because I couldn't give you something that I didn't have. But you didn't understand that, and I didn't know how to communicate that. But I can honestly say, oh, look at the birds. When you came back, it was almost like I saw an immediate change. And so it was, at first I didn't want to go, because she was encouraging me, oh, you need to go. And I was like, okay, let me just go. Let me get it over with. But I got some healing that weekend that I went. And then after that, we had gotten into another heated argument. And you made the comment, you said, you just don't understand me. And I was like, dude, I've been around you all these years, 10, 15 years. I do understand you. But something struck a chord in me, and I was like, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I need to try to understand things from your perspective, because I was used to one way. I felt like I was right in everything, and I'm pretty sure you felt like you was right in everything. But I think that was one of our turnaround moments. Not just the healing, but you're making that comment that I didn't understand you.
And I don't even remember it.
Yeah, and I didn't tell you because I didn't want to. I wanted to win the argument at that time. So I just, but in my quiet time, I realized, something gotta change.
Yeah.
And so 2014 was our turnaround moment.
Yeah.
So it was for the best.
Yeah.
For the best.
And I think even raising our children, Dee and I just sat down at the table. We wanted to get it right, so we just started doing little things. I tell you what helps. We being part of a local church, they praying with us, and I believe they were speaking the word of God over us, telling us this is what we believe the Lord have for you all, the ministry they have for you all, and me and you both probably been prophesied to several times about helping people with marriages, and at that time we was like, we don't see it, we don't believe it. That's definitely not true, but just being open, those seeds was in us, and they started to grow. And but I think our heart to get it right, knowing that we didn't have the understanding, and so that's why our heart is to be able to share things that would just not only help other couples but other families to see things different and realize that marriage is not hard work, it's a different work.
Yeah, definitely. And I think over the last 3 years, us understanding what true grace is.
Yes.
Because it was getting better. Our marriage was definitely, getting a whole lot better. But I think when we start really showing each other grace, and he doesn't have it all together. Dee, you don't have it all together. So let's help each other grow. We're a team. And I think in the beginning of our marriage, even though I didn't know how to be a team. I needed to take care of me and make sure I was good. And if you weren't good, then that was on you. That was my, that's how I felt. Because I was protecting myself because I didn't really, I didn't understand marriage. But I think over the last few years, us really walking in grace and understanding what that truly means and how we need to forgive each other. I know you love me, and I know you wouldn't intentionally try to hurt me. And just say, hey, you know what? Things gonna happen. We just gotta let it go. And just have grace for one another.
Yes. So in closing, we pray and hope that what we share with you today, something in this clip would bless you, help you to rethink some things in your relationships. So thank you for listening in, and stay tuned.
Grace to God.